All right, and live. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody,
Yes.
friends of Happy Coach. And today I have with me a new friend that I just happened to meet online. So this is the norm nowadays. We meet friends online, and he actually stays pretty near me, not too far. And his name is Shawn. So
Yeah.
Shawn is he's a lawyer, but he's practicing more in the finance industry and is doing more of M&A stuff. But today I've invited him on the show because he has a very interesting project, a very meaningful project that I feel that all of us should support, especially those of us who have kids, young children. So Shawn, just hand the time over to you. Maybe you can just introduce a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then we'll dive straight into the topic of the day.
Sure. Thanks so much, Entai, for arranging this, and hi to everyone. Yes. So as Entai mentioned, I'm a lawyer by training. I practice investment funds law, so helping fund managers set up funds and helping investors invest in funds. My wife and I, we have used to be cuter daughter who's turning 4 years who's turning 4 years old this year. And a couple of years back, we were kind of inspired by her to try and write a series of children's books to inspire young girls to be anything they want to be. We ran a Kickstarter campaign. We were very grateful for the support. It was successful. Eventually, we got published by Marshall Cavendish. So the books are called Awesome Women series, and we have 6 board books so far, and each one of them features a particular female role model. We focus on political leaders for the first 6 books. So you can see over here, we've got President Halima over here, Angela Merkel beside her, Secretary Hillary Clinton. Also have Prime Minister Ardern from New Zealand, and we're writing more books. So the next the next box sets will focus on activists. So activists like Malala Yousafzai, Greta Thunberg, Melinda Gates, Michelle Obama. So yeah, should be fun. We're trying to work out the details with our publisher, but that's kind of the next project that we have in our horizon.
So what got you started on this, and how did the idea of coming out with this Awesome Women series, how did it come about?
We were looking around at books. So we firmly believe that kids should be raised as readers. So the best way to do that is to read to them and read with them. And we were looking around for books. There were kind of other similar books around, but none of them really kind of went into the detail of each female role model and who they were as little girls, what struggles they faced, how did they overcome them, and ending off with a call to action to try and get them to do something to be awesome themselves. Right? That's as parents, that's what we all want. We want our kids to be awesome. And we just couldn't find anything that had hit all these notes. So we came up with the crazy idea to try and write it ourselves. It was, won't lie about it. It was difficult. We learned a lot of things along the way. There were mistakes made. If looking back now, we would definitely have done certain things differently. But it was fun. And I think part of it was also trying to be a good role model to Andrea, my daughter. The idea was that we always tell our young kids that if there's something that you don't know, go find out how. Try new things. So if as parents we don't do that, then it's going to be a bit hard to try and get our kids to do it. So part of the reason why we decided to go ahead and press on with the books was also to challenge ourselves and to be a better role model for our. So far so good.
Okay, so maybe just take us back a little bit. How did this whole idea come about? Is it because of your own experience and your wife's experience as when you guys were young and in your growing up years, how your parents brought you up? Is it because of certain things that you have experienced and then you want to do the same now for your daughter who is growing up and going through these years as well? Or is it because of some personal experiences from some of your friends and people around you? So what is the spark that ignited this whole project?
I think it boils down to, I would say, three things. So the first one was really unfortunately we don't have a nice eureka moment. It was kind of something that evolved over time. I think with my wife and I, we've always looked up to our parents as wonderful role models, and that's something that we personally appreciate, something that we wanted to be Andrew as well. But at the same time, we also recognize that there are many other role models to learn from. And trying to find a medium which Andrea would be most interested in, that kind of worked well with our other goals. Like you had to be a reader. Kind of led us to one thing led to another, and eventually kind of brought us to the idea of writing the Awesome Women series ourselves. Yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, no Big Bang moment. Of a slow and arduous journey to trying to find and as the kids grow up, their tastes are evolving as well. So increasingly, we start to see that she's more interested in games. She's more interested in animation. So we're also trying to find ways to engage her on that front. But I think at its very core, no matter how digitalized the world becomes, reading is still an important skill. So that's why we started off with this.
Yep. Okay, so I just want to welcome those people who have just joined us for the show. So I think there are about 6-7 of you online as well. So if you are a parent or if you have experience with young children and you like to share or you like to ask something ask Shawn about some of his experiences as well. Oh, hi, hello. What's your name? Hello.
What's the name?
Andrea.
Andrea. How old are you?
3.
3, going on 4. Hi, Andrea. Wow, she's a bright kid.
I think you should go to sleep. Can you go to mommy? Can you go sleep already? No?
No. not your bedtime yet.
Everyone.
Good night, Andrea. Good night. Wow, she's such a bright kid. Yeah, I can see where the inspiration for the whole series came from.
Yeah, we wanted to match our energy level, so we had to be energetic ourselves.
All right, yeah. So for those of you who have just joined us, feel free to ask Shawn any questions. So I just want to dive a little deeper. Hey Shawn, so in your opinion and in your experience, what are some of the challenges that young parents face today in bringing up their kids in this world where constantly the media tries to define values for us, and they try to put a value on our children as well. Yeah. So what are some of the challenges that you feel young parents today face in this world that information is so easily accessible, and there are a lot of conflicting kind of values that are being imposed on our kids?
Yeah. And it's not just the kind of information that's coming that we're constantly bombarded with, right? So that there's so much uncertainty about what would help them succeed. I think as parents, we just want the best for our kids. We want to give them everything they need to succeed. If we knew exactly what the A to Z was, we would do it, right? I think the biggest challenge right now is, for me personally, is that in this ever-changing world where we are also constantly being required to upskill and learn new things, how do we sort of stay centered, focusing on what we want to achieve with our kids, but yet at the same time prepare them for the world outside. So I think that requires thought and consistency. So one of the things that, when we before we had Andrea, my wife and I actually used to talk about having children, and we said that, we want our kids to be energetic, because if the kid is energetic, you can tone the kid down. But to all the would-be parents, I would say, be careful what you wish for, because it's not very energetic. But I mean, beyond that point about the energy levels, we also had a chat about who do we want our kids, what do we want our kids to become, and we figured that we want our kids to be kind, be happy, to be contributing, and to be financially free. So it wasn't. So then that helped us guide the rest of our kind of things. So were we? I'll be the first to admit that maybe we sent her to too many enrichment classes. But we don't go for the enrichment class because, if you go to Shida or Hikuru or some right brain training, then we expect you to be a genius. That's not the point. The point is really, we want to test you, push you gently, go as far as you can go, and tell us what you feel about it. If you like the experience, we'll carry on more. If you want to try something else, if it's within our means, we'll do our best to support you and give it. The most important thing that we want from you is that is to give it your best. So one of the things that we have tried for her to kind of explore her limits is piano classes. So we piano classes pretty much as early as we could. Not many teachers actually teach at a 3-year-old level. I think it can be a bit difficult to try and deal with a 3-year-old kid. Plus, they may not be as developed cognitively to do it, but we were grateful to have a teacher that was patient enough to help us with this with this journey. And our belief is that if you're only going to spend kind of 1 hour a week with the teacher, you're not going to learn anything. So if we send you to a class, then as parents, we will do additional, we'll basically work with you every day to practice what you do. The hope is that in time to come, this becomes a habit. This becomes a habit. Hard work becomes a habit. Focus becomes a habit. Excellence becomes a habit, right? So you don't get away with playing it poorly. You have to be standard. And I think, we've started this journey maybe about 5-6 months back. So now she's kind of come to the point where she kind of recognizes whether she's done well or not herself. And she will repeat if she feels that she hasn't done such a good job, which I think is very good and something that we want to kind of promote and continue with. But yeah, coming back to the original question of kind of like what are the challenges we face? I think when we have a clear the best way to deal with that difficulty is to have a clear sense of kind of what is it that we want from our kid. And it's like having that beginning with the end in mind, almost. Kind of knowing where you want your kid to be and then kind of like shaping along the way. So and the reason why we push her is for her to try to find joy and pride in her own achievements. I don't know. I feel very, for lack of a better word, very gao wei when she's just at home not doing anything. I feel like there can be there's something. Playground time is great. She has toys that she play with and want to do that. But I think it can be a little bit more positive outcome from her time when she's and it becomes something that she enjoys, right? Because for 2 reasons, I guess. Because she actually loves music, that's why we push her to piano. It wasn't like, we force you to do it. So now she has an outlet to actually play a song that she wants to play.
Mhm.
And now sometimes when I'm working in the as we all are now working from home, the
Yeah.
piano suddenly switches on and I hear her playing. I'm like, oh, that's great. Now, and come on, like praise her. And one of the things that I'm trying to do now more is also to get her to feel more pride in herself. So
Mhm.
I read somewhere that it's not so good to just praise directly, because then they will forever they'll grow up trying to seek your approval as opposed to learning to approve themselves. So that's something that I'm trying to work on myself as well.
Okay. There are a few things that you mentioned that's quite interesting. So I think firstly, what I'm hearing from you is that you and your spouse believe in a very hands-on kind of approach to parenting. So actually doing and going through that journey with the child to let him or to let her, to let your daughter know that the parents are also going through this journey and going through together. And then the second thing, I'm just curious to know the beginning and the end in mind. That's something you mentioned. So my question to you is, what is the end that you have in mind for your daughter? What is the end kind of end that you have in mind?
I think this is the four things that I mentioned earlier. So we just want her to be kind, to be happy, to be contributing, and to be financially free, in that order of importance. So why kind first? Because initially we thought we want her to be happy first and foremost, be happy. But then we realized if she's not kind and she's she gets happy bullying people, that's not right. So the first step was kindness. Part of and to try and help inculcate that. One of the things that we do with the books, especially including, is we actually donate part of the proceeds to charity to kind of raise the idea that you have to be kind. Then the next part is to be happy. I think that's ultimately deep down, that's kind of all what we want. The and for us to work on that, as adults, I think the key to happiness is gratitude. But it's a bit difficult to kind of, okay, what are you grateful for? It's not an easy concept. So one thing that we had read somewhere was you can try asking them, what made you happy today? Right? And that, and it's actually quite interesting. So we've been doing that for a while. We ask before she sleeps, when we remember, we'll ask her, what made you happy today? And sometimes it's the smallest things, like, I played at the playground with my friends today, or I came back home and Papa and Mama were at home, and it's also quite illuminating as parents. As adults, we sometimes find it hard to be grateful for small things.
Yes.
But yeah, she kind of puts things into perspective. That's helpful.
So every night before she goes to sleep, then you talk to her and then you ask her what made her happy in that day.
Yeah. That's one thing that we try to do.
What if that day was a particularly kind of bad day and everything that could have went wrong for her?
I think the amazing thing is that she still finds something to be grateful for, or to be happy about, at least. And I think, I'm not sure whether is it a child thing, but I think even as adults, I guess that there's always a day where there's at least something to be grateful for. And maybe that has rubbed off on her a little bit. So I mean, we so far, knock on wood, but I haven't heard her say nothing. But sometimes because she's so young, sometimes I think her wires get crossed a little bit, so she kind of remembers some things that happened a few days back as something that happened today. But it's I think she's learning how time works.
Yeah, but I think that's a very powerful mini exercise that you do with your daughter, and I think it sets up a good habit because I think even as adults, sometimes we can learn to be a bit more appreciative, a bit more grateful of the things that have gone right, even though it may be the worst possible day. We got out wrong side of the bed, and then everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. But I think this is a very powerful habit. Yeah. So if you are watching and you are a parent, I think this you might want to try this with your child. I think it's really powerful, and it's something that I take note that I'm going to try with my future children. Yeah, it's very powerful because
Yeah.
just I mean, I practice NLP, so I'm a coach as well. I practice NLP, and it's about reframing the mind. Because if you can reframe and you can be thankful for the things that you already have, like most of us, we are still healthy, we still have a roof over our head, we still have our loved ones around us, even through this difficult period of time. Yeah, and I think this will set her up in a very positive mindset, and not just positive, but also a resilient mind. Yeah, a resilient mind that she can. I mean, let's face it, life throws us lemons a lot of times. Yeah, it throws us lemons. But Shawn, I think you're really doing a good job. You're setting your daughter up. Yeah, you're setting her up for in a way success because she'll be very resilient with a very positive mindset. And even though things may not have gone right, but she will know how to be thankful. She will know how to be appreciative and grateful.
I mean, we try. I think with kids, a lot of it is a bit of it is roll the dice. What works for one doesn't always work. I think we've been lucky that some of the crazy things that we try on Andrea works.
So what are some of the crazy things?
I mean, so one of the then we wanted to be kind of contributing and financially free, right? So one of the random crazy things that we're trying, once she was able to do a little bit of math, we wanted to teach her the concept of money. And so we kind of pay her for doing well in certain things. Not household stuff, not like, keep your toys, I'll give you $1. We don't believe in that because you're supposed to keep your toys, so I'm not going to pay you to keep your toys. But if you kind of, so one of the right brain training stuff they do is like memorizing, learning to memorize like up to 15 or 20 cards, right? So if you can hit like consistently 15 cards, okay, I'll pay you $1 for it. So that is like, okay, achievement equals reward. Not basic and after that, then when she when she accumulates a small amount, right, then when we go downstairs, small shops, and she's like, oh, I want to buy this thing. Oh, do you have money? It's like, yeah, I have like a lot of money, is what she would say. And with $5 in a little gong, right? It's like, oh, we have a lot of money. It's like, oh no, but this thing costs $8, so you only have 5. It's like, oh, okay. So I need to earn more. We think that to help her be financial, to help appreciate the concept of money, we want to do two things. We want her to learn that money is scarce.
Yeah.
It's a finite resource.
Yeah.
Right? But your earning potential is infinite. So if you have $10, it's important to figure out what you want to do with the $10. But you can always earn more.
That's true.
So
That's true.
It's kind of that counterbalance. So on one hand, we want her to understand that money is precious, but we also want her to know that she can work hard and earn whatever amount that she wants to earn. Ideally, reach a point where you don't have to actively earn it anymore. Right? That's where we want her to be as well. So we don't want her to become my wife and I do eventually want to be wealthy, but we don't want her to be a trust fund baby. That doesn't feel right. But she should have the ability to help.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it because I think these concepts are very powerful. I think at an age probably still a little bit young to grasp the concept of potential, but I think you're setting her really on the right direction, to appreciate the value of money, and then also the value of choice, because she's given the choice of how she wants to spend that money, and she's given the choice of being able to say that, oh, if I want that thing, then I have to choose to work harder to earn some money. Yeah, so I think these are very simple concepts that your daughter will definitely be able to understand. The potential part, the earning potential part, maybe a little bit later when she grows a bit older. I think she probably cannot understand it.
It's one of the it's been a general sort of approach that we. It's always a balance, right? On one hand, you want them to learn, you want to give them slightly more complex ideas so that they stretch and learn more. At the same time, you have to kind of help them understand it. Generally, and including and same with the approach in the books, is we try not to dumb things down too much. Our view is that, if you kind of throw all the difficult things at them, they either are forced to eventually pick it up, or this becomes knowledge points that eventually they connect together to form wisdom. So just kind of like throw knowledge at her, just throw knowledge at her. I mean, I honestly don't know whether it works or not. But that's how we have gone about. That's how we kind of gone about dealing with her.
Okay. So do you actually subscribe to the carrot and stick approach? Because there are some. I mean, speaking from my personal experience, the way I was brought up, my brother and I, mom uses the feather duster to whack us when we were younger. So there's a carrot and stick approach, and of course, because in the family there's just my brother and I. We are twins lah. So literally, my mom kind of like set us against one another. She kind of like compare. So my brother and I always have a kind of healthy competition to see who would score better in tests and all that. Yeah, but my mom, my own parenting experience was, my mom actually uses the carrot and stick. Of course, when we grow a bit older, then she stopped using the feather duster, but she'll scold. So she'll scold and she'll praise, kind of carrot and stick approach. Do you actually use this kind of approach, or what do you think of this carrot and stick kind of approach?
Yeah, I think there's a right time and space for it. I think there's a right time and space for it. So when we, this is our first child. So when we early on, we tried to avoid any sort of corporal punishment whatsoever. The only reason that got us across, that led us to taking a minor corporal punishment was there was a time when she was around, I think 1.5, where it became fun to her to hit spectacles out of people's faces.
Oh, okay.
And so, obviously that is pretty dangerous. She's quite strong really by that age. All kids are generally quite strong by that age.
Yeah.
And we did the Swedish thing, the Scandinavian lean in, hug them, explain to them. But it was just funny to her. So that was when we say, okay, this too much, this is dangerous. Okay, so if you do that, we're gonna tap your hand lightly, and then then I think that was the first time where we actually did where the corporal punishment it connected. So for 2-3 months, we couldn't get her to stop. Within 2-3 days, that worked. Obviously, we've read about all the harmful effects of corporal punishment on the young kids. So it's going to lead them to think that physical violence can lead to right reward. And sometimes, and you can see she sometimes make that connection. But I think if you use very sparingly in the right kind of in necessary circumstances. Then so the other time that we did this is when we wanted her to get an instant recall. So we were going to travel. We could travel. We were going to travel overseas. So we wanted her to, if we call you, if you're running, if you're, you have fun, go run around. That was I think maybe 2 years back, 3 years old. So have fun, run around. But if we call you to come back, you come back immediately, right? Because there could be a safety issue that we need to avoid. So in order to help her kind of connect that, obviously the first few times it didn't really work, and the lean-in thing didn't work again. And because this was a safety thing, and we said, okay, if you're not going to do it within, as you come back, don't come back within 5 seconds, then we're going to use light time. Again, I think that the connection kind of kicked in, and it works. So you get immediate compliance, but maybe you harm them internally a little bit, like hurt their feelings. But I think if you balance it out, you explain it to them, every time after we do, if we have to implement any sort of corporal punishment, we do explain to her, okay, we did this because we did this, and our pattern is we don't hit you for fun. There is a very good reason why we have chosen to take this action. I think I don't really subscribe to the idea that my wife and I both grew up getting our fair share of corporal punishment. But I think every generation is a bit different. I think I don't subscribe to the view that because we got hit, so we can hit them. I think that's not right. I think they need to be there. Every generation is different. We need to nurture them a little bit different. But there is still a time and place. So that's how we've dealt with it.
Yeah. So I think in the Asian context, I think we kind of get used to the carrot and stick method, but of course, I personally feel that for every method, there's always pros and cons, lah. So you just got to understand. Yeah, you guys got to understand. What are the pros and cons, and then you got to try to minimize the risk of the negative consequences. Because personally, for me, having been brought through the carrot and stick kind of method, I would say largely, I don't have any negative effects of it. And if I get angry, me and my wife try to resolve it. We don't ever use physical kind of violence towards one another. That's a no. Yeah. But of course, I think I understand now, because like you have mentioned, every child is very different, and the way that we handle every child is very different as well. Yeah.
And I think so carrot and stick works for we use it really, like the corporal punishment we really only use for dangerous things. But for for piano is a good example. I mean, we don't hit her if she doesn't perform. Like what I've realized actually is even if you raise your voice or you get stricter, actually that's counterproductive. I think kids, especially at her age now, they work well with praise. So it's like it's actually a bit easier if we praise her for doing something okay, and then say, but I'm sure you can do better, right? Do you think you can do better? It's like, yes, I can. And then she does it, then you praise her like more exuberantly. Very well done. Then she's like, much happier to carry on as well. So for like skills, I found that to be a lot more efficient, right? As a parent also, we only have 24 hours in a day, right? If you have to spend like 2 hours every day trying to deal with the kids, it's very shy. So
that's true.
You also want to find an efficient way to help them learn quickly. And for me, skills-wise, the best way for her to be through praise. Praise and super praise.
Praise and super praise.
So different situations call for different encouragement methods.
So I think you'll be aware as well. In recent in recent days or in recent years, I think there has been an increasing amount of depression amongst young children. I mean, yeah, your daughter is still quite young, but moving forward in the next 5 to 10 years, would you want to come to a point whereby your daughter is like your kind of like best friend kind of thing, and she able to share certain things with you? And of course, I mean, she'll definitely go through a bit of phase in her life where her friends in school and in her own community kind of take a larger kind of role in she'll definitely go through that period. But would you, as a father, would you want to be like very comfortable? Will your daughter be very comfortable with you and then share certain things with you and all that?
I think the short answer is yes. We often tell her that we are your parents, not your friends. But at the same time, we also try to reiterate the point that we're a family and we look out for one another. And if you make a mistake or you have any problems, you need to tell us. And we will figure out a way together. Because that's what our family does. I don't think she gets it yet. I think if we say it enough times, hopefully that helps. So, sometimes when she does something, she also tries to hide it a little bit because she is concerned that she get pulled off.
That's the natural tendency, lah. Yeah, once we do something wrong, we try to hide.
Yeah, but my wife and I got very concerned because like exactly like what you said, because in the future she's going to face more and more challenges that we may or may not see.
Yeah.
And we want also to be open to we want her to be open with us. So I think so far what we have done is to try and be kind of clear about how we encourage her to share her problems while we can still see them. But I think eventually, as she grows older, we want to reiterate the concept of family, the concept that we're always going to be here to work with her through her problems. We're not going to solve her problems for her. We're going to work with her to fix it.
Give her the necessary tools to solve the problems, and just know that you guys are always walking the journey with her. I think that's very important.
I think that's all we can do. I think as she grows older, we will have to pick up more skills. We have to learn more. So like one of the books that I've kind of lined up to read next is Raising Children in the Digital Age. And I think we're trying to avoid giving her a phone for as long as we can. But we'll see. We have only 1 or 2 friends who have kids that are older than Andrea, so we also try and learn from them. But for now, at this age, where we can still kind of see her life, I mean, basically we experience her life with her. So that's still helpful. Like as she grows older, we definitely want her to know that we're going to be a safe harbor for her. But how we do that, I haven't quite figured out. We'll see.
Okay. I think one very important point that we haven't really talked about as well, I think is for yourself as also as a first-time parent. Sometimes as parents, we want to give our very best, but sometimes we also fall short. And I think for first-time parents like yourself and for me, hopefully soon, I think we have to also come to the acceptance that we are not perfect. Yeah, and when we are also in the process of trying to be better, and sometimes we also do make mistakes. Yeah, like I can already imagine what kind of mistakes I will make. So how do you and your wife walk through with each other and then on this journey to become even better father and mother? Or we all encourage one another?
Yeah, I think we are supporters of one. I think we were lucky in the sense that we kind of have a very similar mindset. We want to. I would admit that we're maybe on the stricter side as parents. So and we're together on that front. But I mean, there are times where either one of us is too strict. One thing that we agreed early on, even before we had kids, was that we would never undermine each other in front of. So if she disagrees with something that I'm doing, or I disagree with something that she's doing, either I will tell her softly inside, or she will tell me softly, or she'll WhatsApp me, and I'm like, oh, maybe you should stop now. And I think that is helpful, because then the kid sees a unique front, at least between parents, and we do a bit of and then after that, when the kid is properly asleep, then we have a chat about it. Like, oh no, maybe today in this particular situation you could have dealt with it differently. And we don't take it personally. I try not to. But we talk it out, and then we figure out how to deal with it better the next time. And there are times where we've made mistakes, and probably maybe shouldn't have been as strict on a particular thing, as I maybe should have. And apologize to Andrea before, before she sleeps. During dance practice, I think maybe Papa pushed you to do the repeat activity too many times. Were you very tired? It's like, yeah, I was very tired. So that's why Papa shouldn't have pushed you as much. I say next time your time, just tell Papa, okay? Then then we kind of have a conversation. And I think that is also important. I think increasingly we are not going to be able to know everything. Being able to show that even us as parents are still learning, and we want to learn together. So Nashia, she's 3 years old now, right? She's going through the why thing. So she's always asking why about everything. So one thing that we so one thing that we learned, and one thing that we had read was it's actually very good to explain in as much detail as possible. So like the example the article had given, why does the light come on when I turn on the switch? So a low level answer is, oh, when you switch on the light, when you switch on the switch, it switches on the light. So that's considered a low level answer. A high level answer is, oh, when you switch on the switch, it closes the electrical circuit. So the electricity flows, and the light converts the electrical energy into light energy, which we then see as light. We try to do as much of that as possible, but obviously, as we all know, life is hard. Parenting is hard.
Yeah, really not easy. Really not easy.
So you try your best, but there will be times where it's because it's like that, right? But there are times also that we just don't know, and we say, oh, let's figure it out together, and then we take the phone and we Google the answer together, right? So it can be. I think that bit of vulnerability also helps to invite her to raise her problems with us in the future. That's how I we won't know till we know.
Yeah. And most importantly, that we are all in the process now. I mean, I think it is important for her to realize that my mom and dad also, they are also in this process of trying to become better, and they don't have all the answers, but they are willing to work it out together with me. I think that gives her the assurance as well. That's very important, because a lot of times, sometimes I guess some of the children, they have some issues like depression and all that. Sometimes they feel that they are alone, and sometimes their parents don't understand them. Yeah, that's why they are going through. And it's important, and it's important for parents to just let children know that, hey, yeah, I'm here. I may not have all the answers, but at least I am willing to offer my time, willing to offer my ears, lend you my ears and a shoulder to lean on, to help you, yeah, to give you the assurance, and that's very important. I think that's your main motivation for this whole project. So Awesome Women series, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's we try to be the best, especially at this age. They just want to emulate everything their parents do. So we try to be the best role model for her as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's very good. Just curious, do you and your wife, do y'all do the good cop bad cop thing?
Yes. There are times where both of us are just bad cops. We are both properly angered by her actions. But generally, we do try to switch off. I think that was actually something that we discussed, that our parents both did. Our parents all did, right? Both sets of parents actually did. And we tried to replicate it. Without
Okay.
undermining each other, trying to do that good corporate copy. It works.
Right. Okay. Shawn, so maybe share with us what are the plans for this Awesome Women series, and what can we look forward to, and how can we connect with you, or with that? Is there a page, web page, or Facebook page, or something that?
Yep. The Awesome Women series, now we've done political leaders. The next category of female role models we'll focus on activists. I think after that we're probably going to do entrepreneurs. And we want to continue to grow this. So currently now we have the authenticity and boldness box sets. We want to do it A to Z. Our publisher is on board, so we're going to continue to grow this universe together. We're thinking of finding other ways to reach out to children, workshops in schools, card game. Yeah, in some discussion with possibly producing an animation. But that's all a bit further down. I think the immediate next thing will be the activist concepts. And you can find out more on our website, www.awesomewomenseries.com. I think we're also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn as well. So yeah, find out more there. Please do reach out to us if there's anything that think we can work together on, or if you just want to find out more about the books.
It's awesomewomenseries.com, right? I just put the ticker there.
That's right.
Correctly.
That's
All right. So all parents out there, you've got to check out the Awesome Women series, and it's a really meaningful project that will empower not just the little girls, but also little boys out there, because I feel that this is something that is really lacking in the mainstream education, and what we can do as parents or parents to be, or if you work with children, whether you're a childcare teacher, please take a look at the resources available that Shawn has provided. And Shawn, you have events coming up?
Yep. So we're gonna have a few more live sessions with so my wife has linked up with other kind of entrepreneurs, and we're going to talk about how do you raise change makers and role models with the founders of Love Bonds. So I'll have two others lined up. We're trying to work out what topics we're going to be focusing on, but they may include things like body positivity, consent, and those will be kind of sort of more advanced topics. Yeah. So if you kind of follow us on Instagram, especially, that's the main platform that my wife manages.
What's the Instagram handle? I just type it out.
I think it's at Awesome Women.
Awesome Women.
And
Awesome Women
At
Series.
awesome.women.series.
Awesome.women.series.
Series. That's right.
All right. So once again, the Instagram is awesome.women.series. Please follow or follow immediately. Right away.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
thanks, Shawn, for being so kind to share your story and your experience. And this is a really meaningful project. I would love to be a part of it. So let me know how I can be part of it. I also like to give a shout out to the events, the upcoming events. Invite my group of homeschooling community as well to join in if it's available for them. And thanks, Shawn. And please connect with Shawn. Please connect with Instagram, Awesome Women Series, and check out the website, www.awesomewomenseries.com. All right, thank you, Shawn. Thank you for your sharing. If you have any more questions, this stream will still be up. Just feel free to put in the comment box below, and Shawn will be able to reply to those questions or comments. Yep, thank you very much, guys, and have a great week ahead. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Shawn and a happy coach Yan Tai. Thank you very much and God bless.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.